Hey, hey, my air signs. So, if you are of air sign, the air signs that remain is Gemini and Aquarius, as I just finished doing your fellow air sign Libra, because as you already know that I am doing the new moon solar eclipse reading, and it happens to fall in your fellow air sign of Libra. So I already did theirs, and so you guys are next, Gemini or Aquarius. So if you are air sign or have any placements of Gemini or Aquarius in your chart, then this will be your new moon solar eclipse reading. So with that being said, we are going to get into your reading as I have other elements to do. And so before I start, so that you guys can understand, as I did with your fellow air sign Libra, that I'm going to give you guys just a brief overview in terms of what this eclipse will mean for you. And as I mentioned before, that this eclipse has two focus. The focus is transformation and realization. All right? So let me give you guys an overview so that you can better understand your message and your layout in terms of how that will all correlate with the messages of your of the cards that have come out for you guys. All right, so this new moon phase is attached with a solar eclipse, and it's an eclipse of, like I said, transformation and realization. How so? Saturday morning, October 14th at 10:55 Pacific time brings a very special lunation. Not only is this new moon an eclipse, but there is a remarkable presence of Aries known as a dwarf planet. But its energy is related to the no holds barred fight for continued existence that is fundamental when making a stand for what one believes, especially when making a stand for of ourselves. And so that feminine warrior, that of Aries, energy and the attitude of it will help with our own soul intention, allowing us to go to or within the depth of our psyche, which encourages us to find our deepest values and act upon these as we make our way forward. So you can say in essence that that was the realizational aspect of what this eclipse would mean for you air signs. Now, when speaking about the transformational aspect of this eclipse, then there is planet Pluto. That has been said that planet Pluto has been featured in recent new moon configurations, pointing to our inner moral compass. The moral is that these are very extreme, difficult times here on planet Earth, as we have recently seen with two unrelentingly wars that is presently going on. With these world events and planets that are at play unbeknownst to us, the relevance of this is that unexpected events are still in the works. And so more than ever, we all need to find within ourselves the courage, faith in the universe, and ourselves to go on. And in speaking about ourselves, there's also planet Chiron in the mix that will further heighten the focus of an in-depth emotional deeper layer that exists within ourselves. Now, Chiron in tarot, it's somewhat, because speaking about that deep emotion, Chiron's archetype, you can say, or the attitude behind it, is somewhat like that of the tarot card, the moon, because the moon is connected to our emotions, deep emotions that exist within us. So in tarot, that would be like the moon card. And Chiron is the archetype of the wounded healer. Now, just notice, if I mention Chiron for this, that was, I think, for, no, I was right, Chiron. But let me just make sure I'm saying what I need to. Okay, so it is associated with like that of the, yes, I see what I said here. So the moon energy came in, I put that in because when I was preparing this, the moon is connected to our deep emotions. But the overall archetype of Chiron is that of the wounded healer. And so the card in tarot that reflects or symbolizes that is the Nine of Wands, for those that know, right? And that represents inner wounding as a result of some unresolved early childhood trauma, but ultimately transmuting the potential for the healing of such issues. Therefore, this eclipse highlights an opportunity to find our way forward in spite of and even with the aid of our own internal wounding. So in closing, this solar eclipse, new moon, will give us a great deal of ammunition to fuel us in finding our most authentic self as we move forward to proceed along our destined path. So now that you guys have an idea of what this eclipse will mean for you guys, and just by the way, if I haven't mentioned it, which I don't think so, that the effects of this solar eclipse has an effect up to 6 months. But what I have done is giving you guys somewhat of an overview of what it will look like for you for the next 3 months, okay? Because the cards that I have pulled out is going to represent from now up until, giving you a little bit for the top of the year of 2024, so January, and then you will guys will, based upon your messages here, it will kind of give you a glimpse, or it will give you more or less preparation as to what the transformation it is that you might be dealing with to help you, you can say, for the balance of the 6 month, if that makes sense, okay? So let's speak about you guys' spread, which is your guys' layout. And as I did with your fellow air sign Libra, I wanted to just quickly point to, so you guys can understand the layout and what it is and how I got your messages here for today. So we're going to start off, and all the cards here have been pre-shuffled and pre-drawn for you. We're going to start off with an oracle, that of the sun, because the sun is associated with solar, and we are under a solar eclipse. So I wanted to get and pull a card from this deck to start off you guys reading, because there it will, as I feel that I am doing, it will give you your theme for the whole 6 months, but it will give you, like I said, a preview of how and what it will begin to transmute for you from now up until January, if that makes sense. So I'm giving you like the strongest vibrational type of eclipse energy for the next 3 months, but it will carry over up until the 6 month would end around like April, I believe, is when it will fade out, this eclipse. So you guys will know. Now, after pulling out that oracle for you, we're going to follow by pulling out 3 cards, which have already been pre-drawn from the from the Angel Guide deck. And the reason being is I was drawn to use this deck to present what I would say could be your potential challenges during this eclipse, solar eclipse period. So we got 3 cards that came out as your potential challenges. And then after that, I pulled out 2 tarot cards for each challenge. That will be like the overall message in terms of what Spirit feels is the message behind those challenges, and then ultimately seeing how you can overcome those challenges. And then we will close out with the wisdom of the oracle, okay? And the wisdom of the oracle would be like, we're starting out with an oracle, and we're going to close out with an oracle from Spirit to see overall what was the summation of the messages here today. And we're going to close out with that, okay? And I already pre-pulled a card for you for that. So now that you understand your layout, let us go into your reading. So the card, I should say, not the first card, but the card that came out that will represent your 6 month solo theme that came out was discrimination, okay? And what's interesting, as I think back to the card that came out for the Libras, was, I think, discovery. So it's interesting that you guys, even though you didn't get the same energy, but it begins with a D. So it's something about D. All right, but you guys got discrimination. And so what does that mean, discrimination? Well, ultimately, to discriminate, it's almost like calling for you to, pertaining to what the message is in the book, is pertaining to you guys being selective and being discreet with people, which represents energies, that you will have to either choose in terms of who you will decide to remain in your circle. So to discriminate in this essence is not going to be selfish, because ultimately when you think about discriminate or discrimination, it can carry a non-positive message, right? When it comes to work, when it comes to even people that you choose to be with because of their color, their race, that is like discrimination. But in this situation, to discriminate, it's going to help you when it comes to selecting the people that already exist in your world, in your atmosphere, whether it be at work, whether it be on the home front. It's calling for you to be selective and discreet about, again, who will you remain? Who will you allow to remain in your energy? This is what this discrimination is speaking about, okay? Now, we're going to jump into now your first potential challenge that came out was transformation. Now, how fitting, because it is part of what this solar eclipse, this new moon in your fellow air sign Libra is about. That's one half of what the message is, transformation, and the other one was realization. So, the fact that you guys got this, it means that there's going to be potentially this challenge for you that you would need to overcome. In other words, in order to get to transformation, in hindsight, you would have to come to some realization. In order to see change, in order to begin a metamorphosis, you have to realize what it is that you need to, going back to your theme, discriminate toward, whether it be a person, place, or thing, okay? And once you come to that realization, realizing what it is that you need to remove, discriminate, and to let go of, then and only then will you begin your own personal transformation. Okay? Because the tarot cards that came out to give you the overall message behind that even more, you got the Ace of Wands and you got the Five of Pentacles. Ace of Wands, if you know by now, an ace of any suit marks a new beginning, a new start. So, before you can start to see any type of transformation, the Ace of Wands is showing you need to take action. Take action toward discrimination. Okay? Take action toward letting go, removing yourself, taking action to see yourself, in fact, I just lost my thought, to see yourself taking action. I hate it when that happens. Give me a second. Anyway, if it comes to me, I'll say it. But I think you guys got the picture overall. So the Ace of Wands, Wands is about action. It's an action type of energy for us to take action in any aspect of our life. Taking action toward what it is that we want for ourselves, so that maybe we can be open for that newness to come in. If it's about taking action toward a job that maybe we no longer are happy with or contented with, well, then we need to take action. Once we can figure out and realize that if we are in fact allowing ourselves to be under, which now I'm going to speak about the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is feeling at loss, being at loss, right? But for me, it's speaking about the mindset, okay? As I saw this, it's the mindset. The mindset is changing, again, which taps into transformation, changing your mindset to take action. Because for some of you, you might have up to this point have been in the mindset that I can't change. So you have in fact maybe been resisting to change, which means then that you won't see no transformation. So for me, the Five of Pentacles, for me today, for this reading, it's meaning you guys need to change your mindset to something positive. And being able to change your mindset to something positive, it will ignite. Just as the ending of the overview says, and I will repeat it. Remember at the end of that overview, it says that this solar eclipse new moon is giving us a great deal of ammunition to fuel us in finding our most authentic self. So that's exactly what the Ace of Wands will do for you, air signs, in the next couple of months. That it will give you the fuel, the initiation to start something, and particularly that is starting with what you have going on inside you. That inner feeling, right? And then whatever it is that is inside of you on a deeper level, that might be triggering your thoughts, your mindset. Change that mindset so that you can begin to see some sort of transformation. Now, this is a collective of you, so you know what aspect of transformation, what realization this will be for you, because it's going to look different for all of you air signs, okay? So you got to figure that one out. But with this eclipse, it's going to help you, give you that ammunition to begin that realization so you can start to discriminate, right? But not a discrimination as what I mentioned before. This is a discrimination in terms of people, places, or things that don't serve you, that in some kind of way maybe have been a bit intense with you, maybe have in fact kept you in this low type of energy where it may have affected you mentally or even physically, whatever it may look like for you. Okay, so now that's what I got for your potential challenge, your first potential challenge. Now for your second potential challenge for some of you, it will be joy and contentment. When I saw this as your second challenge, it takes me right back to what I just mentioned with the transformation challenge. So again, if you are with a person, if you are at a place, an environment, be it work, be it home, that is not allowing you to see any type of joy and contentment, that may be a challenge in a sense where you maybe have been resisting to discriminate in removing that person, place, or thing in order for you to see this. Because if you don't realize it, there's no change. And if there's no change, when you think about it, you cannot then see joy and contentment. In whichever way this may be, whether it's at home, at home, the home environment, the work environment, or contentment even within yourself. Okay? Now, when it comes to yourself, how can you get to joy and contentment and seeing it for yourself is, again, like going back to that Five of Pentacles, your mindset, your attitude. So initiate a new whole attitude so that you can start to see joy and contentment. And if it's not within yourself and it's pertaining to someone outside of you, then you have to do something in order to overcome this challenge. Because obviously that fact that has come up, maybe you guys have not been able to see some type of realization in order to get to that transformation aspect. But this eclipse will help you to realize what you need to achieve, to see that joy and contentment. So that might be a potential challenge for some of you. Being able to not resist seeing joy and contentment within yourself. Now let's speak about the actual tarot cards that came out under that. We got the King of Swords and the High Priestess. So this hits home for you guys element because swords is connected to air, right? So again, the King of Swords is, in this aspect to me, it's about not being too hard on yourselves. Don't be hard on yourselves. Don't feel that when it comes to discriminating, that don't feel bad about it. Because when it comes to you guys' overall peace of mind equals and would lead you to joy and contentment. And so for me, this King of Swords today speaks about not being so firm and hard on yourself, because we know the King of Swords is an energy that can be very intense, very judgmental, not only to yourself but to other people. It can represent being very strict, being very authoritative, right? So how does that influence how you see yourself and perceive yourself? Well, don't be too hard on yourself. If it's time, or this period of this eclipse is calling for you to realize that you need to treat yourself with more kindness. Treat yourself in a way that you can open up to see joy and contentment, then don't feel bad about doing that. And what was the other card? High Priestess. High Priestess is connected right to what this overview mentioned about being in the depth, going within the deeper core of yourself, right? And by doing that, you are honoring and trusting your intuition, doing what's best for you, and never feeling apologetic about doing so, right? So for some of you, this challenge might have been something that you might have been dealing with in terms of struggling to see some sort of joy and contentment. Well, under this eclipse, that will you will begin to see some type of change. That is if you are willing to realize it, to see that transformation. Now let's go to your last potential challenge, and we have here surrender. Okay, so we know what surrender is, right? Basically, to surrender is to surrender, but not to just anybody. It's calling for you guys to surrender to whomever your belief system is, right? Allah, God, the universe, whomever you believe to, spirit guides. We all have angels, right? We all have spirit guides, each and every one of us. So it's calling for you guys to surrender to your guides, to the universe, to the divine, right? Surrender to the divine so that they can assist you with any of these challenges. Because if you're not surrendering, that is the challenge in itself. The challenge is that if you haven't seen a transformation, if you haven't seen joy and contentment, you are in fact resisting the need to surrender. Because, like I mentioned in the overview, we are going through very difficult, extreme times. And we need someone. We need that of the divine. We need source in which to help us to make any type of change, any type of transformation for us to get to where we need to go. If we have a path, our destiny, we can't do it alone. We can't seek it alone. We need that aid from the divine to help us. And the only way that we can allow them to do is open up to surrender. And by doing so, we are trusting, we are having faith, just like it mentioned in the overview. We're having faith, not only in ourselves, but to the universe. And once we open up to them, then we will begin to see some type of results for the better. Now, the two tarot cards that came out behind that to further add the message was the King of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. So again, this is you guys' energy, right? I love it when the energies of the card shows up pertaining to the element. It doesn't necessarily have to be that it has to come out, but I like it because it kind of just really targets you guys' energy overall for the reading. But the King of Pentacles is, particularly with the Page of Swords, that's your energy. But the King of Pentacles is, to me, looking at the future, looking at your life for it. And so it's like, are you where you want to be? Have you seen where you want to see? In other words, let me rephrase that. Are you where you want to be? In other words, if you are where you want to be, has it brought you joy and contentment? Going back to that second challenge. Has it in fact given you a sense of accomplishment, right? So that's what the King of Pentacles is. It's like a look into, because that's what the Page of Swords is. It's a card of surveillance. It's observing. It's looking at things. So in retrospect, this is like yourself looking at your life. Is it where? Am I where I want to be? How does it look? How would it look in the next 6 months under this eclipse? If the answer is no, I am not happy, I am not content with where I am, well, there's a strong need to do what? Once you realize it, then that begins the transformation, to change it so that you can see your peace and can see joy and contentment, along with surrendering to the divine. Open yourself up to receive their guidance. As you can see this illustration, he is opening his hands. So it's about being open to allow the divine to come in and to support you, to aid in whatever is needed to help you to move even closer and to overcome all of these challenges, right? But remember, your overall theme is discrimination, right? So I hope that was helpful. And as we close out, the card that came out from you from the Wisdom of the Oracles is why. So basically, don't ask why. When you surrender, you don't need to know why in terms of when it's going to happen. Why is things happening? Why I'm being hit with these challenges? All you need to know is when you surrender with your faith, all you need to know is, I'm trying to think about the other one, because there's a saying, don't worry about the why. You have why, where, when. Don't worry about the when either. Don't ask why. Don't worry about the when, because ultimately, when you surrender, when the time is right, then you are in fact in the process of waiting for things to change. You are aligning yourself up toward transformation, and you are aligning yourself up to overall in the energy coming toward for joy and contentment. I think that's about the best way I can put it, air signs. I hope this was very helpful for you. I hope the message was clear. If so, send some fire to that thumbs button to give me a like. If you want, you can, if it doesn't really resonate with you, it's okay. Maybe you might know someone that this message might resonate, so you can share it with someone that you might know that is dealing with any of these challenges, or during the course of this 6 months, you can put them onto this channel so that they can get their reading. But however, if it did, just a little bit, did resonate, but you are still wondering and curious as to what it can mean for you more on a personal level, as this was just a general, I am open for personal readings. Information will be in the description box, so you can go ahead and book your private reading with me via email, and I will be able to then give you a more precise and a tailored reading for your own unique situation. All right, air signs, again, thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, I'm wishing all of you a wonderful weekend, and go ahead and do what you need to do to see some sort of transformation. Let this solar eclipse work for you so you can see your joy and contentment, air signs. Peace, love, and light. Namaste. Thank you.